Welcome to the May meeting. My name's Dave Curley, I'm the president. Um, I'd like to start out with, do we have any guests today that would like to stand up and introduce themselves, either here or online?
Good morning. I'm a guest, Paul Jablonski from Naperville, Illinois. I was a guest in person at one of your meetings a few months ago, and my wife and I are still in the process of moving from Illinois to Muskegon, Michigan. So I look forward to attending in person once we're up there permanently. Thank you for letting me be a guest.
Great, I remember you. Okay, there's no more other yes. Our club, we have quite a few benefits in the library. And I'm still looking for
Dave,
anybody
we
who might
cannot.
be interested in being the librarian. We sell supplies, we have apparel, we have a mentoring system. And if you are a mentor, just raise your hand. Tom's here, and I think there's a couple over here as well. And show and tell we do, and we just keep coming up with more and more interesting things to do. So today's demo, we're going to have Ron Campbell, and he's gonna show us how to do. Ron, can you pronounce that word? Moment shot. I say it 100 times and you pronounce it. So, and if you don't know what those are, you can look that up. It's but primarily birds. Oh, it is. I've looked it up. Next month we're going to have Tom Stamps do a
Review, I think.
And
We're under.
he's also going to do a hands-on. And if you want to step up and just talk about that quick, we've had a little bit of confusion on a couple occasions where somebody thought it might be this month, but it's next month.
Under share screen.
All right, so next month, demonstration is gonna be on, different types of SKUs. So I have a variety of SKUs to show the strength and weaknesses of different types of SKUs. Hands-on, and afterwards, have some tool steel and barrels, wood blades. Go up there, you can play around with the SKU that I had, clean it and make a tool base. That's about $20 for the right, adding everything up. And if you want to do like a quick release handle to
We can't hear you.
I'm better now.
We can't hear you. You're breaking up.
Is this a microphone issue or is this an internet issue? Because it's
Microphone.
No,
Now I can hear you, Dave.
It'll be better when I'm right up against it.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I would say for the people on the Zoom meeting, they are having some issues with the internet at the site, and I think they're going through a Wi-Fi or a telephone hotspot. So bandwidth is probably not going to be good today.
Okay, I'm going to continue. And if you can't hear me, tell me to get closer to the mic. We've got Nick Agar coming October. Yeah. In October, we have Mike Scalella, or not Mike, Jim Scalella. Scarcella. Oh. Scarcella. That's just exactly the way it's written here. He's confirmed for November. So we've got to update our newsletter probably, but he's confirmed for November. Things that are happening, next month are the Festival of the Arts is coming around. We just received this week announcements for awards for people were in that or participated in that. We have several club members. Who might they be? They might be Brian Newton, Tom Sampson, Ron Campbell, John, who do I have, John Smith. Yeah, he's not in our club. He actually won our Ron Dan Broder award. And then Daryl DeRuiter was here today as well. And yes, me as well. We also, you know, the AAW Wood Symposium in Louisville, Kentucky, is the first of the month as well. And then later in June, is Ron Campbell's retreat. Do you have any updates on that, or would you like to wait till you? Do you have any updates on the?
Tomorrow, class registrations go out tomorrow.
Okay, class registrations go out tomorrow. Thanks. And I have on here, I'm still looking for a librarian. So if anybody's interested in that. So this is something that has come to our attention fairly recently, is an opportunity to do demonstrations at the Festival of the Arts. And I don't think we actually signed up to do this. But if we're interested, we need like people to do this. That's the first weekend of June. So in my mind, I can't do it. If anybody wants to head that up, then we would need to get a committee to do that pretty quickly.
Tom Sampson said he would be interested.
Yes, he did, but he's not gonna run the whole show. He's also told.
Well, all he's got to do, if Tom Penninga can get the lathe down there, we'll set him up.
Is that Fred?
Yeah, that's Fred.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to figure it out, because right now I don't know anybody that's really able to do this by themselves. It's gonna have to be more than one person, so we'll have to figure it out and let you know as quick as possible. Yes.
I mean, it's a lot of fun demonstrations. We're much better spoken this year. So we're really close to the Calder.
Okay.
And we can get the lathe down there if we have some turners who are willing to spend 45 minutes, demo whatever they want to demo.
Right. Okay, I'll repeat that. So Tom has said that we have a better location. It's going to be right in front of the Calder, and in the past it's been kind of on a side street somewhere, I think. But if you're interested, Tom says we will get the lathe down there, and all we really need are bodies to turn. So if you're interested, I think get with Tom. Okay, thanks. Okay, are there any other announcements that anybody needs to make? Anybody online? Okay. Okay. So I think if Steve has said if you need to pay your dues, pay him before he leaves. He's going to leave early. If you're online, I think you can pay anytime.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
I was just wondering about, in the newsletter, it said something about location for the makers. Something Ron had put a comment in there. What was that about?
I'm not sure.
From the officers meeting.
In the newsletter, but I will get with you about it later on, if you don't mind. Is that
Okay.
sufficient? Okay. I think we're all set to do show and tell. You have one more? I'm sorry, Tom does have something. He told me that.
So the other day, Pete and Doug and I went and cut down a real American chestnut tree, which is pretty rare wood. I've never turned it. There's a trailer outside and you can take as much of that wood as you want. When Pete turned a piece, one of the things that happened is it had some separation along the growth rings and a couple pieces flew out. So if you do turn it, be careful. But anyway, I mean, it's really rare to find American chestnut, so most of it, what you can buy today is reclaimed wood from stuff that was made 100 years ago, or 120 years ago, because the early 1900s, all the chestnuts started dying with blight. So anyway, there's probably 40 pieces of wood out there. Help yourselves. There's a couple pieces of walnut from George too, so.
Thanks, Tom. So I think we're ready to start show and tell. And I'm going to start. I hope you can focus. Do we have a? So I did a class last week with Alan Lacer in the West Michigan Woodturners Club, and it was a tool on hook tools. We all made a hook tool and used the hook tool on end grain boxes or end grain cutting. So we had to come up with a handle to put that on, and I didn't have a handle, and I was kind of running out of time, so I went and grabbed myself what I call a fish whacker and turned that into a temporary tool. When I drilled the hole for it, I was a little off kilter, but so this is a temporary one. I'll probably heat this up, take this out, and make a new handle for that. I like it a lot. First of all, because I made it.
Yeah.
And no, I couldn't put it, but we'll get to that. So the end grain boxes that we use the tools on, I can pass this around, but this is just tool finish. I didn't sand any of this outside or inside. I didn't get the fit good, but I wasn't really after that. I was after the cuts. So you can see that there are ridges here. I didn't sand. I could have sanded those ridges out, but there's no end grain. There's no tear out in the end grain, and that's the nice thing about it. It also lends yourself some design opportunities for finishing the bottom of the bowl. They're a little clean. You can get with other tools. I pass that around. Yeah. The last thing I have. This is a 3D printed version of an oval skew that I just bought because I wanted to maintain what the factory cut was, the factory sharpness was. So I put it in, I reverse engineered it into CAD and printed it out. I have this to refer back to whether or not I want this grind, but at least I have this to refer back to what the original one was when I bought it. So I always seem to bring something 3D. So I had to bring that. Challenge should be at any time.
All right.
So we will announce that in this part.
And I did the presidential challenge. Red color is Boginga. Well, first, the reddish color one is Boginga. And then I had two matching blocks in my shop. So this one had like a nice purple color backs on it. Run it through my joiner to get a nice flat edge, and it ended up being brown.
You make that piece of wood? Yeah. Mother Nature made it. This is a piece of wall. That's not working.
Put a little closer there.
This walnut is not burnt. This is what hard wire will do to your walnut tree. It'll turn it black, and that color goes all the way through. It looks a lot like a piece of ebony. So this was the diameter of the tree when when the wire was wrapped around it. The tree is now about 30 inches in diameter.
And that's more.
Yeah, well, well, the outside pieces are, they're still 30 inches in diameter. But, I thought that was kind of interesting, what that did. If you want to experiment, maybe you can get some liquid iron or something, try dumping it around the bottom of your walnut tree and see what happens. But I've never seen one turn that much that color. For your raffle.
That's a big planter. That's the biggest one I've ever made. Last fall, I bought an 1836 Laguna. My wife had a little accident, so I took care of her for a while. Then we went to Florida. So the first thing I did when I got back this spring was take a batch. It's just about the capacity of the blades right there. Which part of that size I've ever done. So just made it kind of simple. I still got a little work to do on the top to clean some things up and everything. I got it done in time for her Mother's Day last weekend. So it's fun. That is sanding sealer underneath, multiple sand, and then I bought a can of tung oil. And actually just one coat. I got a couple little scuff marks I got to clean up, but yeah, I turned out really for that. I'm just trying to decide what I want to do with it. Leave it like that, or pour out steel wool or buff it or whatever. Good lady. There's a piece of wood that laid around for a long time. Sometimes you get an idea in your head, and I victimized that piece of wood. Just to get the idea out of my head. It's crazy critters. One thing I did learn about it is that I like to carve green oak a lot more than I do something that's been laying around for a couple of years and it's dry. There it is.
So I tried the President's Challenge, it came out decent. Just for this past year, and then it's playing with just a little piece, and it's the first time I actually got beat to work. So I would like to just play around.
So I'm Pete Vandermeer, and I did the President's Challenge that Tom did, and I brought them in to my wife, and she said, they look like ashtrays. So get rid of those and do something else. And I was moderately annoyed, and I thought there gotta be other things that you can do with square pieces of wood that you turn them into bowls. So I just started playing around with the idea, and I did just a series of different shapes, toruses. Decided to do some bowls like this. This concept actually I think would be a lot more fun if it was uniformly about 3 millimeters thick all the way through the center, so that it'd be really light. And then I decided it would be kind of fun to make pieces with holes in them. And it turns out that there are a lot of interesting shapes that you can come out with, starting with a square without turning it all into round brownie. So I was just having fun with the idea.
I'm Ralph Lindholm. I've done a lot of wood. Anyway, this is an unusual piece of wood. I bought this from New Zealand. It's Perry. It's a pine tree, but it's set in a bog and it's laid there for 30,000 years. So you can get this, it's available called Ancient Wood. Google it, why they have this stuff for sale. It's not exactly cheap. I don't remember what I paid for 2 or 3 pieces, like $700. So I said it was not exactly cheap, but they did. It's carbon dated to somewhere between 30 and 50,000 years old. It's absolutely amazing. I'm gonna pass it around because it's so interesting. It looks like you look into it. It's that opaque after you put a finish.
How was it to turn around?
A little dusty, but you know, it's for that old you can be. So, but it's a delight to turn. The finish is really nice, and that's. I think I got 2 or 3 coats of lacquer on it, but it really allows you to look into the wood. If you look at it closely, it's really, really dramatic. So it is available. You just have to. Yeah, just buck up to the. So the other thing I brought in, I acquired this plane. I had this plane since 2006, but I had it decorated a little bit by a firearms engraver. It's just kind of. Yeah. It's really, really neat. Now, I've seen one of these done before, but I didn't have one for myself. So again, I bucked up for the dollars and said, okay, I'm gonna have one made. I'm gonna pass it around. It's brass with a solid stainless steel dovetailed base. And it doesn't go. It's a delightful plane to use because it's so precise. And you need to look at it with a magnifying glass to understand the precise level that the engraver put into it. Hi, I'm Tom Penninga. I'm getting ready to sell stuff at festival, I hope. These are something I made a whole bunch of a couple of years ago, and now I made a whole bunch more. They're all hollow. They're a puzzle if you know how to open them. There's a dollar coin inside it. You know, once you get in production mode, you can really crank them out. They each have a name on the back. This one is called, we won't talk about that name. This one is Weezer, and so we'll see how they sell. They're kind of fun to make, but it turned out to be more work than I thought it was. So I get $1 an hour, I'll do great on it.
We have anybody queued up online? I think we have a couple hands up.
You're muted, Dave.
Who's muted?
Sorry, I'm back. Yeah, we have a few. Ruby, why don't you start? And anybody else online, if you have something to share, click the reactions button and raise your hand. That'll help us spotlight you.
Okay, if you want to spotlight me.
Doing it.
Okay, the one I'll start out with will be my Maasai warrior. It's not that difficult to shape, but there was a lot of components to it. When I did this part here for the texturing, I used the edge of a parting tool. And then after I had created the lines along here, took a wire wheel to it to finish off the texturing. That was done after it was painted black. And then the shape for the shield was cut out on the bandsaw. It was put onto the lathe straight so that I could turn these arcs down here. And that was a little wild.
Mm.
And so you can see up close the detail on the head maybe. And then the other thing I've been working on were some small bowls like this. And the bottom has a little detail to it. And the top, and I'll come in close and I'll take the lid off so that you can see the detail right up close. And the little dots between the bigger gold dots were all done with a toothpick. Any questions?
Great work, Ruby, as usual.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
John, go ahead. I'll spotlight you.
Okay. We get into texturing. When I'm cutting brush and such, I see marvelous potential in bark texture. This was I think an alder tree that had died several years ago and was still on the stump. So I cut it and turned it a bit. I let Mother Nature drive the shape. I hollowed it, portion a bit, and then cleaned it up a bit with a box making tool. And then for the texturing, I painted the entire thing kind of a flat black. And then I used the Chromacraft gold and silver gilding creams and just touched across the top of the bark. So it's textured by Mother Nature and messed up by me. The other item I've got is a pagoda box. I did a class with Jason Breach a number of years ago, and we were turning these types of boxes and several others. And that's what that guy is all about. It was a very good exercise in small box turning. But it gives you a kind of a striking profile in some respects. So that's what I've got. Thank you.
Nice. And I've got a couple of things. So I used Tom's method and made a square-edged bowl out of an old glue up that I had made about a year ago. And once I got done, I tried snapping it apart with the chisel and I could not get it apart. I couldn't break the glue line. So I ended up cutting it apart on my bandsaw, which made me think, why bother to glue up in the first place? So that to me opened up the opportunity to use green wood. And just Thursday, I got some new cherry and made my next generation. See if I can get this to focus. My next generation square edge bowl. This is about 10.5 inches across. No finish on it yet. But you know, with using green wood, that it makes it a lot easier to make large things. My only fear is that it may crack as it dries, since there's so many unequal thicknesses around the whole perimeter. The other thing I had was I got some red elm from someone that the bark wouldn't stick on it, so I ended up using a propane or a butane torch to burn the rim. So that's my first experience with that, and that I was pretty pleased how that turned out. All right, that's it for me.
Anybody else online?
No, that's all.
Okay, I forgot one, and I do want to show this because I like the color of Osage. But this is a burnishing tool also made in the Allen Lacer class. This is actually used to put a little burr on a scraper. So if you're doing final cuts, you can control what that burr is and how fine you can get your cuts. So anyway, that's something I'm also kind of proud of in that class. And I think for now, we're going to take about a 10-minute break. And then we'll reconvene and have Ron do his demo.